Happy New Year, Aries. Welcome to your 2020 forecast. We're going to check in with this deck here and pull one card for each and every single month for 2020. And then we're going to pull an angel card for you all to see what angel is going to be with Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising in the year 2020. So let's go ahead and see what is going on. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising 2020. Please show us January 2020 for Aries. And your first card here, my darlings, is Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords can definitely indicate something is happening for you by way of communication, some news you might be receiving. It can also be indicative of ideas that are receiving or that are coming to you. Now, those of you that watch my channel, you may have already heard me say this, but Ace of Swords, to me, when I see it come up, it gives me a sense or a feeling that somebody is breaking through mental blocks. So things that mentally have been holding you back, overcoming false beliefs that have been maybe keeping you from being able to manifest certain things or accomplish or succeed at certain things. Ace of Swords tells me you're breaking out of that. You're cutting through the mental clutter. Some of you might be experiencing crown chakra opening up. Those of you specifically that have been really working very hard to strengthen your intuition and your own psychic ability, or just trying to think more positively. Now, we haven't pulled your angel card yet, but the fact that Ace of Swords is coming up, I can already tell you right off the bat, Aries, a lot of you are going to have Archangel Uriel around you. Archangel Uriel is really great for positive thinking, for kind of bringing new energy into your life. So that's very much the kind of energy. So you're starting the new year with a very clear vision, and you're starting the new year really with like some very solid intentions. So Ace of Swords is going to be a really good card coming up. In the extended reading, I'm going to pull 2 clarifiers for each card. That's what the other 2 diamonds are there for. But this is going to be the quick and fast little version because I know some people get tired of hearing me talk and they just want to see the cards. So we'll move on to February 2020 for Aries. Ooh, and we have the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is a major arcana card. This means that there's something significant happening in your life by way of some kind of life decision that you're making, a crossroads. Hierophant can also indicate something is happening, Aries, where you are beginning to get more aligned with people that share your beliefs or your ideas, or you're becoming more clear about what your beliefs are, what your rules are, what your MO is going to be moving through life. Hierophant can also indicate commitments. It can be engagements, marriage, things of this nature. So if you have a relationship that you all have been together a while, or you've been looking about the next steps, there definitely could be something happening in February where things are taking the next step or becoming a little bit more seriously, perhaps a Valentine's Day proposal for some of you. There could be something like this coming along as well. These are general readings, so the energies are going to apply in different ways. Also, obviously, with the extended, there would be clarifiers. But for many of you, the overall vibe that I'm feeling with the Hierophant is that this is going to be about making some kind of commitment, making some kind of promise, okay? For some of you, this could be within yourself. Maybe you're making a promise to yourself this year that you're not going to give up on yourself, you're not going to get discouraged, that you're really going to keep those resolutions, or that you're really going to accomplish some things this year. Or it could be a relationship type of commitment. But the fact that it's showing up as the Hierophant, it's telling us, Aries, that you mean business, and this time around you're sticking to it. Like, you are sticking to it. There's no more excuses, no more sabotages, that this is something you are committing to. Your March, let's see what's happening for March for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Please show us March 2020 for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. You have 2 of Pentacles. 2 of Pentacles is busy energy. That doesn't surprise me. Typical Aries, like you're making a decision to do something, you're making a commitment to do something, and then you're like going all in, right? Like you're not getting any rest. You're like, it's all gotta happen now. It's all gotta be done now. So you might be taking on a lot of different projects, or you might be very busy at more than one thing at a time. Two of Pentacles asks you to try to find the playful energy, to try not to get too carried away, and to try to find balance in whatever it is that you're doing, whatever it is that you're working on. Again, Two of Pentacles can be asking you to find the more playful approach. I always kind of call this like the spoonful of sugar that makes the medicine go down. And sometimes, not always, Two of Pentacles can come in with an energy of like embarrassment or feeling silly. So Aries, those of you where that Ace of Swords in January really applies to you clearing your thinking or the false beliefs, you might have to stay on top of that in March, because you might be slipping back into the old way of thinking where you're judging yourself and you feel like you have to prove yourself because you think people are looking at you like, oh, Aries doesn't know what they're doing, or oh, Aries isn't doing a good job, or they seem like they're struggling, or they seem like they're taking too long. There might be some self-judgment where you're working way too hard to prove yourself when the people around you aren't even thinking that about you. You're just making assumptions and you're jumping through hoops because you're trying to show that you're on top of it, that you've got everything handled. So for some of you, this could be a card asking you to just go easy on yourself and reminding you that you don't have anything to prove to anybody. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what your April is going to be for 2020. So April 2020 for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What message do we have for Aries for April 2020? Oh my goodness. You guys know that I love this card, that I love, love, love this card. So Ace of Cups is going to be a card that comes up with something having to do with rewarding new emotional experiences, really feeling true joy, really feeling true connection. So for some of you, those of you that you have been feeling like you're going to have something significant happening in your love life, or you felt very strongly for a while that your love life is going to be turning around, we already have cards right off the bat saying that there's going to be some really positive love energy for a lot of the Aries to tap into in 2020. So some of you might be coming across a very significant soulmate. For other ones of you, it's returning to some sense of joy. Like, if you've been wanting to kind of get out of what you've been doing and connect with the type of work that's going to be fulfilling for you or bring you joy, or you've been wanting to break out of what you've been doing and get into something more creative, Ace of Cups can absolutely apply in those ways as well. Depending on where your focus is, depending on where you're finding fulfillment, depending on where you're finding joy, Ace of Cups is saying April is a time that you're really beginning to connect with those opportunities and those experiences. The reason why I love Ace of Cups so much, and those of you that watch my videos regularly, you may have already heard me say it. Forgive me for repeating myself. It bears repeating. I see Ace of Cups come up when somebody is making a massive shift with the universe. We all have patterns in our life where we repeat the same cycle again and again. We're like, why do I always get stuck with this kind of a jerk of a boss? Why do I always end up dating these kinds of losers or liars or cheaters or whatever? And it just happens again and again, and you feel like it's the same crap, different day. And then we all get to a point where we're like, you know what? I'm done. Universe, I am done. I am done feeling this way. I'm not going to do this again. I know what the red flags are. I know who not to trust. I know what to look out for. I'm done. I'm done feeling this way. I'm not going to do it anymore. So Ace of Cups is like, that's when that comes up. The universe is like, awesome. Yes, Aries is awake. Aries no longer needs to be woken up. Aries doesn't need pain as a motivator or as a teacher. Aries is ready to learn through happiness, through joy, through positive experiences, through accomplishments, right? Then you start having all of these karmic lessons that come in, but it's the positive karma. It's the good karma. It's like the yes, please, more of this, instead of the, oh my God, no more, never again. It's like, yes, yes, more. So some of you might be having a positive soulmate coming in where you're learning a healthy relationship, or just some of you are learning or you're attracting, you know, just more fulfilling experiences in whatever area of your life it is that you're focused on. But you can expect to really see that shift in April. You can really begin expecting to see the positive, you know, like the fruit, you know, producing in April. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what's happening in May 2020 for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What is happening in May 2020 for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, please? Oh my goodness, this makes me happy. You know what? I have to say this. This makes me super happy. I think the energies in 2020 all around are going to be super awesome because Aries, your card just came up, okay? And so far, you guys are only the third ones that I have done. But for every single zodiac sign, their major arcana card so far has come up in their reading. And the Emperor is associated with you all, with Aries. So when your major arcana card comes up, for me in a reading, that means that this is a time that you are stepping into your power. Like you are owning it. You are claiming it. You are just coming into this energy where you're like, you know what? Not only is failure not an option, it's not possible because I'm handling it. I'm on this. Like I am owning this. And you're coming into the really positive characteristics and attributes of being an Aries, right? You begin to see that a lot of the things about you that maybe you thought were weaknesses or things that you thought were like quote unquote negative traits of Aries or that your friends or family didn't like, you're beginning to see that they're actually strengths, you know? And I don't just mean this for Aries, I mean this for any zodiac sign when their major arcana card comes up. They're seeing the things about them that they thought were negative, or, oh, well, you know, that's what it is to be a Capricorn. That's one of the negative things. Or that's what it is to be Taurus or whatever, right? Like you're beginning to see how some of those things are actually traits when harnessed in the right way, when applied in the right way, and you're on it and you're doing it. So this makes me feel like a lot of the things that you've been struggling with or a lot of the things that you felt like you just haven't had a handle on in your life, by the time you get to May, you're on it. Like you just kind of really feel like you have control. Things are under control. You know where you're headed. You know what you're doing. Emperor can also indicate that some of you are dealing with really establishing a really strong foundation in your life. You're really getting like your self-discipline in order. I'm even hearing self-control. So if some of you have had difficulty with controlling yourself, and I don't know why I'm getting money, guys. I'm getting money. Like maybe some of you have had a difficult relationship with money where like when money comes in, it's hard for you to hold on to it, or it's hard for you, like you save and you're very, very strict, and then something happens and you blow through it. If you have had that relationship with money, I feel like you're having the self-discipline in May to where like universe says, okay, you know what? Aries is ready to receive financial blessing because Aries has learned, and this time Aries is not going to lose what comes in. Like it's safe. It's safe to bless Aries now with that inflow because they're going to be responsible with it. Or they're not going to feel sorry for other people and help everybody else that's taking advantage, or, you know, whatever. So I just feel like you're going to have very firm and healthy boundaries in place. You're going to have a very firm, solid plan in place for what you're doing with your finances or what you're doing with your career or business. And you're really beginning to move forward. Like really, I get a very strong sense of discipline and control here. Emperor can sometimes also indicate a father figure or a mentor kind of person coming in. It can also signify a very significant like past life soulmate. I've heard some readers refer to it as like a divine masculine, which it can be. But the thing about the Emperor, if this is an actual person in your life, you're going to have to understand something. They're going to be in their emperor traits, which means that they're going to be a little bit aloof. They can be very passionate. They can really look out for you. They can give you companionship, but they're going to need alone time. They're going to need space. So some of you might be dealing with a person who's behaving that way. You may be that way. You may decide in May where you're like, there's a lot of really good things going for me and I'm happy, but I need a little bit of space. I need a little bit of alone time. So maybe some of you are planning something like a significant trip to just maybe take some time off and go travel and see different parts of the world, or you're just wanting a little bit of space away from friends or family. It's not like in a way where you're sad or depressed or you have big decisions. You're just like wanting to recharge. You're wanting to enjoy that which you've accomplished for some of you. Again, in the extended, we'll pull clarifiers and we'll see what's coming up. And, you know, these are general, so, you know, you might want to do a private reading as well. But we'll see what's coming up in June for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Please show us June for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Okay, so we have Temperance, another major arcana card. So you've had two major arcana cards that have kind of come in here back to back. You also had the Hierophant, where you started off with, well, you didn't start off with you, but you had Hierophant come on early on. So you have several major arcana cards that are coming up. You also had Ace of Cups come up, which can also indicate a soulmate kind of thing. So there's a lot. I'm telling you right now, Aries, and I really think there's something in the energy of 2020 because a lot of major arcana cards are coming up. Where you're going to be going through a lot of shifts, a lot of clearing, a lot of accomplishments. So there's something in the collective energy. Okay, you guys are you're the third one I've done so far, but the other signs so far also have had a lot of major arcana cards come up, one more than the other, and you know, you guys are having them come up too. But when the major arcana cards come up, it lets us know that you're going to have these really massive moments of growth. And I said this in the Aquarius reading, and somebody had said something about, oh, great, it's like going to be a crappy year again. Oh my God. Like, you guys already had Ace of Cups. It's like some people don't understand that. Growth doesn't have to be painful. Growth doesn't have to be something bad happening to you. Yes, that is one of the ways in which we grow, but you have so many positive cards coming up. You're saying that you're going to have positive experiences and joy. And all of these major arcana cards that are coming up are telling you, like, this is when the shifts are happening. These are when the changes are happening. This is when you're breaking the old patterns, the old cycles, coming out of the generational garbage that you've been trying to clear for so long. It's happening in 2020. The fact that you have the Temperance card coming up for yourselves in June does tell us that you are going to feel very guided to make really big changes in terms of how you're interacting with the world and with the people around you. The Temperance card can indicate that Spirit is moving through you. Spirit is like you are being a channel for Spirit in some way. So Aries, if some of you have been in that kind of surrender mode where you've been like, God, universe, Spirit, you know, please allow me to be a vessel of your light. Please work through me. Please, you know, allow me to be of service. You know, how can I use my skills? How can I use my gifts and my abilities to be of service for others? Well, when you come into the month of June, you are beginning to understand how. It's beginning to come to you, and you're beginning to be guided on how to do it. The only thing that I can tell you, Aries, is I do feel that some of you, this abundance that's coming in, you know, it's coming in because you are going to be helping or making a change. Whether you're taking some of this money and investing it in some kind of spiritual training or healing work, or, you know, taking time off to go volunteer or do something like, I don't know why I just heard Habitat for Humanity. I don't even know if they're still around. But you might be doing something like that, or like Doctors Without Borders or something where you're like, look, I'm really blessed with this success that's come in. Let me go help some individuals, or let me go, you know, use my skills in a way. There's money here, so, you know, I have money in the savings, or I have money in the account, so I can go and help out with these projects or get involved with these projects or things like this. Some of you in June are very close to being able to do that, but you're not there quite yet. And Spirit is saying, relax. It's going to happen. Don't put pressure on yourself. Don't like try to push it to make it happen quicker than you want. Understand and know that things are happening within divine timing. Some of you Aries are going to have a significant soulmate come in who has done a lot of work and a lot of healing on themselves. That could be the Emperor for some of you, who might be making like a reappearance, or they're seeming like they want to be in your life, but they might not be ready quite yet. Or they might just kind of check in and disappear again. The Temperance card would say that there's unfinished business here. It's not quite done just yet. This person still has some lessons they have to learn. They still have to grow in some way, but they're going to be back again. When the Temperance comes up in a situation of like a relationship situation, so if you have a relationship situation happening for you in the month of June, where you're like, what in the heck is going on with this person? It's basically telling you that things aren't over quite yet. Like, this is a to be continued. It's not the end. It's to be continued. And they're going through their spiritual awakening. They're going through their healing. There are some things that are happening. If some of you, God forbid, but if some of you are experiencing a breakup in June, I feel like the Temperance would say that, you know, you all are going to end up coming back together at some point, that it's not quite over just yet, that there's just issues or things happening with timing. Again, these are general readings, so the energies are going to apply in different ways. I know that not every single person can afford to have a private reading, and, you know, so that's why for that reason, I try to cover the different areas, or I try to cover the different ways this might come up, so that if you're coming back later on in the year and you're watching the reading, you know, it can maybe be helpful for you all, because it's like, oh, well, that's my scenario. So I always try to explain some of the different ways this energy can be showing up, okay? We're going to go ahead and see what's happening in July 2020 for our lovely Aries friends. What is happening for Aries Sun, Moon, and Rising in July 2020, please? What is happening for Aries Sun, Moon, and Rising in July 2020, please? And you have the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is a card that comes up when you are making some really long-term changes. Like, there's changes that are happening in your life that are going to be very permanent. Very, very permanent. But it makes sense why you had Temperance come up before this card, because Temperance says there's some timing things that are happening here. Things are happening in divine timing. You need to be patient. And Knight of Pentacles, even though he's very thorough and he's very accurate and he gets the job done, and he gets the job done well, he is the slowest moving knight in the tarot. So it's not rapid. It's not fast, but that's what makes it so solid. That's what makes it so long lasting. So some of you are going to have to be really patient with, you know, how quickly things are growing or developing. And the reason why it's happening, I'll tell you. And I think a lot of the different zodiac signs, I think a lot of people in general are going to have this issue coming up in 2020. Because the energies are shifting, and because a lot of people are becoming unstuck and good things are starting to come in, they might get impatient, where it's like, hurry up and come in faster, or hurry up and get me from point A to point Z already. I don't want to be on point J. I don't want to be on point M. I don't want to be on point, you know, V. I want to be at point Z already. Like, they're just in a hurry to get to that finish line, right? And they might be very tempted to kind of dismiss all of the progress that has happened along the way. And this is saying, look, like, you are doing really good. You're on the right path. Things are getting better. You have what you need. Things are moving forward. But this is taking time, right? Like, if I'm going from here to like Disneyland, there's going to be miles in between. And I can only go so fast to get from where I am to get to Disneyland. You know, I can't make the miles go faster. I mean, I can try to work harder, I can try to drive faster, but at some point there's only so far that I can go. Like, there's going to be a set amount of time that needs to go by. So you need to keep this in mind, and you need to kind of be gentle with yourself in that process. The way that the light is catching the pentacle behind his head, though, that's really bringing me back to the thought of the whole crown chakra, the thought process thing. And this is Knight of Pentacles. So I really, really feel like a lot of you are gonna be doing some kind of mental clearing around your beliefs having to do with money. And you're gonna decide to invest in something that before you had told yourself, oh no, it's going to take too long. Oh, I don't want to do it. It's going to take too long. And some of you are like, you know what? No, I'm going to do it. Some of you might be getting into actual investing where you're like, okay, well, you know, money's been better. I've got a little extra money here. Let me go ahead and, instead of letting it sit in the bank in the savings, let me go ahead and let me figure out what might be a wise way to invest this so that it can grow and multiply and gain more interest than it would gain sitting in a bank. Some of you, I do feel you're actually getting into investing, or you might be investing in somebody else's business idea. Understand this. This is super important, Aries. If you have someone come to you we're in July, right? We're doing July right now. Yeah, we're in July. I forget. Understand this. If you are deciding to make an investment in some kind of a business where you're like, I'm going to take this money, I'm going to start some kind of business, or somebody's coming to you in July asking you to invest in some project or idea that they have, it will be successful. It will bring you back a return, but it's going to take a while. So if you're investing money in anything, only invest what you can bear to part with, right? If it's something where you're going to say, okay, here it is, but don't take too long because I'm going to need this pretty soon, or I'm going to need this later. You know, invest what, in other words, you could tell yourself, okay, worst case scenario, I could afford to lose this much if I never saw it again. Approach the investment in that way. Don't go all in, right? Especially that, you know, luck has been going good for you, or things have been opening up for you. All this positive things are happening. Don't get ahead of yourself where you're like, oh yeah, I'm manifesting everything. I'm going to put everything I have into this and I'm going to manifest. It's going to pay back immediately. No, don't do that. Be cautious with your investments in July. Invest because it will be worth your while down the road, but don't put in more than what you can stand to be without for a while. Okay, my darlings, let's go ahead and see what's happening in August 2020 for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, please. August 2020 for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, please. And we have the Well, another major arcana card. You guys are like, what? There's no major arcana card called the Well. What is Amethyst talking about? Well, I didn't know, but apparently there's two extra major arcana cards that are not in every tarot deck, that a lot of tarot decks, I guess, don't include. But this particular tarot deck has them and includes them. So I had to kind of read up about them. I had no idea that there was a major arcana card called the Well, but here we are. The Well is connected to earth energy, and it's basically saying that you're coming into a time where you're kind of tapping into that cosmic energy, and you're going to be receiving a lot of ideas about things that you can create in the physical realm. So this could be something in terms of inventions. This can be in terms of like investments or businesses, things of this nature. You might have a lot of kind of brilliant ideas coming to you that you're going to be able to manifest and bring into the physical realm. It's really kind of associated here with creation. Some of you might just really be feeling a need to connect with the earth or ground yourself, because I'm getting a little bit of like an incubation energy here where you're kind of spending time in nature and ideas are coming to you and you're grounding yourself and you're healing and you're releasing, and it's motivating you to take some steps into a new direction here in terms of ways for abundance. For some of you, I feel like something is happening where you are helping somebody else come up with a source of income Like maybe you were concerned about having to take care of them. Like maybe it was a sibling or a friend or a family member or a spouse or a child, a grown child, that you felt very obligated, like I'm going to have to carry this person through, or I'm never going to be able to retire because I got to support this person. I feel like you're coming up with some kind of idea for an income or some way of income or some way of support that's going to take that burden off of you, Aries. So for some of you, that's going to be a really kind of big change here, a really big kind of shift that's going to be really worth your while and really, really helpful. But I'm definitely feeling that kind of vibe here. I do feel some of you, and this is kind of like, this is not going to be for all of you, but for some reason, I feel that for some of you, something is happening in the month of July where you might really be getting into like Wiccan kind of stuff. Like Wiccan stuff, or really kind of connecting with nature in terms of like a spiritual thing. And something similar came up for Aquarius, but I felt like they were having very like spiritual connections in nature. Whereas with Aries, the difference is with Aries, I feel like some of you were actually like, it's like you're going to church, like being in the woods, being in nature, connecting with natural elements, maybe in like some ways where you're having some kind of ceremonies, or really incorporating those elements in ways that you're connecting spiritually. So it feels to me more like you're honoring nature, or you're communing with nature in that way. Again, this is a general reading, so it's going to be in different ways for different ones of you. That won't resonate for every single one of you, but I do feel for some of you, and I'm hearing returning to the path. So maybe some of you were doing better in life when you were in that belief, when you were in that practice, and maybe things happened and you got kind of pulled away from it. Or maybe you did it when you were younger and you got older and you were just like, oh yeah, that's just kind of silliness. And now you might be like, wait a minute, no, like there's something to that. I was on to something then. So some of you might be returning to that kind of energy or to that kind of belief system, okay? We all have different belief system. And my whole thing is you need to do whatever you do that's connecting you to love, that's connecting you to spirituality, and anything that is, for the greatest common good for all, that is spreading love, that is spreading good energy. So, for some of you, that is the way in which you're finding it. We're going to go ahead and see what is happening for you all in the month of, well, that was August, right? I got to double check here. It sure was. Let's go ahead and see what's happening in September. September 2020 for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, please. September 2020 for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, please. Alrighty. Ooh, hello. Good stuff. We have Page of Cups. Now, Page of Cups could indicate a crush, a new kind of love energy that's coming in. But it can also indicate some kind of new undertaking having to do with creativity, something that brings you joy. Now, gosh, I might catch some heat for this. I just have to say it. I have to say it. Well, let me say this before I get to that, because this is probably going to apply to more of you. Page of Cups is a card that I see come up in readings where like your heart chakra is opening up. It's when you're really beginning to receive and you're really coming out of the blockages and the things that was preventing like abundance and love and positivity from coming into your life because your heart wasn't open. Your heart's opening up so that you're beginning to receive, and it's going to be opening wider for a lot of you so that you can receive even more. But as that heart chakra opens up, some of you may be a little emotional. Some of you may feel a little extra sensitive. If you find that in the month of September, your feelings are kind of lying at like commercials and songs, where you wouldn't normally cry, you're like, oh my God, I'm losing my edge or whatever. You're not losing your edge. You're still a strong badass. The issue is just simply that your heart chakra is opening up, And because the heart chakra is opening up, you might be a little more sensitive, but it will balance out. So this is what I was like, man, I might catch some heat for this. I'm not saying this in judgment in any way. I do feel some, like I said in the previous card, I thought it was very funny that this card showed up right after my previous message about those of you returning to the Wiccan path. One of the, well, depending on which text you study for tarot, one of, or some of the text will list this Page of Cups card to symbolize a fluffy bunny. Fluffy bunny. And I don't mean a cute little fluffy bunny that you see that you just want to cuddle, a cute little bunny. Fluffy bunny is kind of like a slang term that some people who are on the spiritual path, or some people who might be like in the Wiccan tradition, like, you know, they might see like some, you know, teenage kid or something who like, you know, starts like going to Hot Topic and like, you know, dressing all like witchy and they all want to be in it, but they're like, they're wannabes. So sometimes they'll look at those people and call them fluffy bunny. Like, oh, you're a poser. You're a wannabe. You don't understand this tradition. You don't understand this path. Some of you Aries, you're going to encounter people that maybe treat you like you're some fluffy bunny. Maybe they even call you a fluffy bunny. I don't know. Or like you don't know what you're doing. Like you're not ready for this, or you're not truly gifted, or you're not really truly called to the path, or you're not chosen, or whatever. You're going to have to get out of that. You're going to have to get out of that thinking. And nobody, Aries, I'm not Wiccan. But nobody can tell you how to connect to your higher power. Okay? If that is the religion that you feel guided to, that you feel called to, nobody can tell you it's not for you. Nobody. Nobody can tell you what to believe. Nobody can tell you how to pray. Nobody can tell you if you are chosen or not. Okay? So whatever path it is you're feeling guided to, maybe it's not Wiccan. Maybe you're like me, where you had a very strong Christian upbringing. And so people tell you, oh, you can't believe in Jesus and be in tarot. Well, you know, that's a whole debatable thing, you know. Nobody can tell you what your belief system should be. Nobody can tell you how to communicate with your higher power. So I feel for some of you, Page of Cups is like you're really, not only is your heart chakra opening up, you're coming into your spiritual connection. And some of you might catch some heat for that, or some judgment for that, or people might treat you like you don't know what you're doing, or you're just, this is a phase, you're going to grow out of it, whatever that is. Don't listen to them. They don't know. Nobody knows that. But, you know, that's between you and your higher power. Nobody can dictate that for you. So let's go ahead and see. We're in October now. October 2020 for our lovely, darling Aries friends, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Oh, ho, 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 ho. The messages are being confirmed, if I might say so. So we already know in September there's going to be some kind of undertaking, right? And we focus kind of on the spiritual connection. Maybe for some of you, it's not necessarily a spiritual connection. Maybe it's just the path and the journey that you're going on, your interests that you're pursuing, or career, or whatever. But, and you might be catching some judgment for that. The Strength card coming up is telling us that you are really about to embark on your journey of coming into your authentic self, of doing what you came here to do, and it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. You're going to feel like you're going into completely and totally uncharted territory, and that leaves you feeling very vulnerable. Okay, but the message with the Strength card is, although you might be going out into the unknown, although it may be uncharted territory, although you may be feeling very vulnerable, you are going to conquer the wild. You're not just going to survive, you're going to thrive. I mean, you're going to come back leading the lion. I mean, come on now. You're going to do very, very well. But you have to allow yourself to really get out there and take the steps. Another message with the Strength card is that you're going to catch more flies with honey than you are with vinegar. Okay? So I feel that for the majority of you, this Strength card is about you having the courage to go into this new path, to be yourself, to try these new things. For other ones of you where emotional situations or relationships may be in the forefront in the month of October 2020, the Strength card is saying that you're going to have to kind of gauge the energy here, right? And you're going to have to respond cautiously. And you're going to have to maybe use some gentleness. I always kind of think of the way that she won this lion over. She didn't go in there and yell and scream at the lion and kick it and, whip it into submission. It would have ripped her to shreds. So I always imagine she kept her distance. She was cautious. She was careful. Maybe she left food and water out for it once in a while. Maybe she took care of it when it was sick or injured. And she developed this bond. She developed this trust with this lion, right? So some of you are gaining alliances in this way, through the give and take, through letting go of control, letting somebody come around little by little, not trying to force or guide the progress of someone else, but kind of work within, like, what you can do and what you have to release, and step back and let them come around. So if you're in a relationship, then that might be kind of like the best dynamic to approach that relationship issue. But the Strength card is a major arcana card. So whatever this is going to be something directly connected to life purpose, life path, or a significant soulmate. Some of you could be dealing with a Leo. There could be a Leo that's going to be a significant, part of your journey in October. I don't like to get too hung up on the astrological signs, because it could be their moon, it could be their rising, it could be their Venus. I mean, how in the heck do you know? We don't always know those things, right? So, but understand and know that the energy coming in October is going to be linked up with the energy of this card. Let's go ahead and see what's happening in your November. So November, Sun, Moon, and Rising for our Aries friends. November, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Please show us November 2020 for our Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising friends. Whew. November 2020, please. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. Another major arcana card. So it's pretty safe to say that towards the end of 2020, you're going to have some big decisions to make. And you're going to have a lot of really big moments of growth, of progress. Now, the Strength card came in. Whatever's happening in October, whatever you're committing to, whatever you're kind of pushing yourself into having the courage to do, November, it's really paying off. Okay? Because you're receiving a recognition. You're being seen, possibly even celebrated here. And the star card for me is a card that kind of comes in to let us know that the worst of things are over. The worst of things are behind you. That now is the time that you're going to be able to really shine and be happy and enjoy your hard work. The star card can also indicate inspiration. Like you're very inspired, you're very creative, you're creating all of these new things and you're inspiring other people. I don't know why, but I'm getting a vision of like some of you, like you're at a book signing, but like you're signing the books. So if you've been thinking about doing something with a book in 2020, you may be in October or in November, excuse me. You may be in November, like having launched it, publicizing it, like getting recognition for it. People like it. People are all about it. They're showing up to your book signing. They're wanting you to sign their book. I don't know why, but I had like a flash, like just a flash vision of like somebody signing a book. So, at a book signing. Or maybe some of you are reaching out and you're going to a book signing of a mentor, of somebody that really inspired you, and you're getting to go and get your book signed, and it's filling you with like inspiration of the things that you're going to do, of the things that you want to set off and do in your life. The star card could also indicate an Aquarius. Maybe some of you are having some partnership with an Aquarius. But Star card also indicates long-term plans, long-term abundance, more than one avenue of income, you know, things of that nature. So very positive energy, very, very positive card, but also very big, very life-changing, very crossroad kind of energy. All right, and the extended, we'll pull the clarifiers and we'll see. So let's go ahead and see what's happening for you in December. Please show us December 2020 for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Oh my gosh. Hello. You have Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles is like the ideal financial situation. Now, some of you may be receiving some kind of assistance or generosity from someone else. Like you might be receiving a gift of money. However, your cards have been so pretty positive. I feel it's more so you by December, you're in that Six of Pentacles energy. And Six of Pentacles is the kind of energy where you're out of debt. Debts are paid off. You don't have to worry about them. And you're in the energy where you have money saved. You have money put aside. You have enough money to where you can go out and enjoy yourself. You can go on vacation. You can treat yourself here and there without having to stop and check your account. You're able to give and to be charitable for causes and situations that you feel moved to donate to or help out friends. I do also feel for some of you like you're feeling very good and that you're going back and you're giving money to people who may have helped you during a difficult time in your life, right? And for some of you, it might be an organization. You know, it might not be a person. Like maybe you had a really difficult childhood and maybe you had like bouts of homelessness or something, or maybe you had to go to like shelters, or maybe like you were like in the, I don't know, maybe it wasn't that bad. Maybe you just kind of really got to be like with the Boys and Girls Club or something. And so you might feel like I'm going to go and I'm going to give to those charities, or I'm going to give back in some way. Like some of you are coming full circle in that way. Like I've made it, I've succeeded, but I don't forget where I came from. I don't forget how hard it was. So some of you might be putting money back into your communities in that way. Where you're like, I want to help other people see that. Because especially with the Star card, the fact that you guys got the Star card, when the Star card comes up, it's somebody that they find their way through the darkness, and then they're like shining the light for others. They're showing others the way. So with the Six of Pentacles, it feels very philanthropic to me. It's not just kind of like where you're just one and done signing a check over. I feel that some of you are really investing in your communities in some way. And I didn't get that with Capricorn. This came up for Capricorn, and I did get for them where they were being generous, but it didn't feel to me so much as like being involved in the community. That doesn't mean that some of them won't be, but I just feel for Aries, there's more of a feeling of like, you know, paying back or putting into a community in some way. Okay, my darlings. Let's go on in here and see what angel is coming up for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising in the 2020 calendar year. What card is coming up for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising? What angel will be with Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising in 2020? Alrighty, my darlings, we have, the sun, very fiery, Aries appropriate energy, Archangel Uriel, happy outcomes, brilliant new ideas that lead to success, having confidence in yourself. Guys, one thing I can tell you about Archangel Uriel, I love working with Archangel Uriel. Archangel Uriel is excellent for overcoming obstacles, like really helping you overcome obstacles, getting through blocks, things like this. So I would say, Aries, a lot of you, being that Uriel is showing up here, you are going to find that, you know, you're going to feel maybe a little bit unstoppable in 2020, that things aren't phasing you, that you're finding solutions more quickly, that you know, every kind of setback is actually setting you up for a come up, but the come up is coming quickly. Like it's not taking a long time for that to happen. So very, very positive energy, my dears. I do invite you to watch your moon sign and rising sign as always. Sometimes that resonates with you more, or it brings a little extra information. Don't forget to watch your weekly forecasts as always. Guys, if you would like a private 2020 reading, obviously I'm more than happy to do that for you. If you click on the Calendar link, you can schedule there. Now, I know some of you want a little bit more details, but you can't afford a private reading. That's why I'm doing the extended video this year, and I'm keeping the cost super low at just $4.44. So if you want to get the extended reading, and the extended readings are about an hour long, so it's a meaty reading. Like, I really get in there. So not bad for $4.44. The instructions are in the description. All you have to do is go ahead and PayPal to me the payment, and in the memo, tell me which sign you want the extended reading for, and I'll be more than happy to get it out to you. I thank you all so much, guys, for watching. Thank you, Aries, for being here. Thank you so much for your love and support. I'm wishing you a wonderful, amazing 2020. Take care.